I am a single father to my 10-year-old son Max. Money has been tight since the divorce, but Max never complains. For his upcoming birthday, he wanted nothing more than a PlayStation 5. As a mechanic, my salary barely covers our basic needs, but I was determined to make it happen. For 8 months, I saved every spare dollar, skipping lunch and working overtime. Finally, I bought it and hid it in my closet. Then my sister Lauren came to stay with her son Tyler. The night before Max's birthday, I discovered the PlayStation was gone. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from. Hit like and subscribe if you have ever had a family member cross a line you never expected. My name is Jake, and at 34, I have been doing my best as a single dad. 3 years ago, my ex-wife and I separated, leaving me to figure out how to raise our son part-time while working full-time as a mechanic at Miller's Auto in Columbus, Ohio. Our arrangement gives me Max every weekend and alternating weeks. We live in a modest 2-bedroom apartment that I have tried to make comfortable, though it is nothing fancy. The divorce hit Max hard. He was only 7 when his world was split in two, and gaming became his escape. All his friends at school have PlayStations, and they talk about games constantly. Max would come home excited about the latest game someone was playing, but he never once complained about not having a console himself. He seemed to understand our financial situation without me having to explain it. "Dad, can Tommy come over to play?" he would ask, instead finding other ways to have fun. But I could see the longing in his eyes whenever gaming came up in conversation. As his birthday approached, I overheard him telling his friend on the phone, "Maybe next year I will get a PlayStation." His acceptance of our circumstances only made me more determined to give him what he wanted. The saving process was brutal but worth it. I started bringing coffee from home in a thermos instead of buying it at the shop near work. I packed lunches instead of ordering takeout with the other mechanics. I picked up every extra shift my boss offered, sometimes working 12-hour days until my back ached and my hands were raw from engine grease. I even sold my prized collection of vintage car magazines and some specialty tools I had invested in over the years. Each sacrifice was another step closer to the $500 I needed. When I finally reached my goal after 8 long months, I felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. The day I purchased the PlayStation was memorable. I went to the store during my lunch break, nervous and excited, like it was me getting the gift. The salesperson helped me pick out 2 games that would be perfect for Max's age. I carefully loaded everything into my truck and brought it home, hiding the box in the back of my bedroom closet behind winter coats where Max would never look. Every night before bed, I would check on it, imagining the look on Max's face when he unwrapped it. I planned everything perfectly. We would have a small party with a few of his friends, pizza and cake. The PlayStation would be the grand finale. That was until my sister Lauren called. "Jake, I need a favor," she said, her voice carrying that familiar tone of entitlement. "William is away on business and I could use some company. Tyler and I were thinking of visiting for the weekend." Lauren is my older sister by 2 years. While I struggled to make ends meet as a mechanic, she married William, a successful investment banker. Their life in the suburbs of Chicago was filled with luxury cars, private school for Tyler, and vacations I could only dream about showing Max someday. I hesitated before answering. Lauren and I have always had a complicated relationship. Growing up, she was the golden child, straight-A student, prom queen, college graduate. I was the underachiever who found my calling fixing cars rather than pursuing higher education. Our parents never let me forget the difference. "Max's birthday is this weekend," I reminded her. "Perfect, Tyler can join the celebration. They are cousins after all. They should spend more time together." I reluctantly agreed. Lauren and Tyler arrived Friday evening, the day before Max's birthday. From the moment they walked through the door, Lauren was critical. "This place is smaller than I remembered," she said, dropping her designer luggage in the middle of the living room. "And what is that smell? Is that motor oil?" Tyler, now 12, immediately claimed the television remote and sprawled across the couch. "This TV is so small. Do you guys have any gaming systems?" "Not yet," I answered, giving him a pointed look that he completely missed. Lauren inspected my kitchen with thinly veiled disgust. "I will take Tyler out for dinner." "I cannot imagine what you have been feeding Max in this place." I bit my tongue. Max was at his mother's house until tomorrow morning, so I had one night to endure Lauren's judgment before his birthday. After they left for dinner, I checked on the PlayStation one last time. I opened my closet door, pushed aside the winter coats, and reached for the box. It was gone. My heart sank. I searched frantically, thinking maybe I had moved it. I checked under the bed, in the hall closet, everywhere I could think of. Nothing. With growing dread, I realized what must have happened. When Lauren and Tyler returned, I confronted them immediately. "Did either of you take something from my bedroom closet?" Tyler averted his eyes, but Lauren responded with casual indifference. "Oh, you mean the PlayStation? Tyler was bored, so I gave it to him to play with. He has the same one at home, so he knew how to set it up." My blood ran cold. "You went through my things and took the PlayStation that I bought for Max's birthday tomorrow," Lauren shrugged. Tyler was bored, and Max was not using it anyway. I could hardly believe what I was hearing. "Lauren, that was Max's birthday present. I have been saving for 8 months to buy it for him." She waved her hand dismissively. "You can just buy another one. The stores are open tomorrow." I took a deep breath, trying to contain my anger. "You do not understand. I cannot just buy another one. I had to save for months, cut back on everything, work overtime. That money represented countless sacrifices." Lauren's expression softened slightly, but her words remained callous. "Well, I will pay you back someday. William just had some investments that did not pan out, so money is a little tight right now." The irony of her statement was not lost on me. Lauren, who lived in a 4-bedroom house and drove a luxury SUV, was telling me, who counted pennies to afford my son's birthday gift, that money was tight for her. "I need you to take it from Tyler and give it back now." Lauren's expression hardened. "I cannot do that. Tyler is already playing it. He would be devastated if I took it away now." "And what about Max? What about his devastation tomorrow when there is no gift?" She crossed her arms. "Tyler deserves nice things too. I do not see why this is such a big deal. Family should share things. Share. You did not ask to share it. You took it without permission, like you never took my things when we were kids," she scoffed. "Remember my Walkman that you broke? Or my sweater that you stretched out? You were always taking my stuff." I stared at her in disbelief. She was bringing up incidents from 20 years ago to justify stealing my son's birthday present. This is not about us as kids. This is about you teaching your son that it is okay to take things that do not belong to him. "You are making a big deal out of nothing," Lauren insisted, her voice rising. "Tyler, come in here." Tyler sauntered into the kitchen, a smug expression on his face. "What, your uncle is upset about the PlayStation?" Tyler shrugged. "I was bored. There is nothing else to do in this dump. I had to clench my fists to control my temper. That was a present for your cousin." "His birthday is tomorrow. He can play it when he comes over," Tyler said, as if he was being generous. "That is not how gifts work." I replied, my patience wearing thin. Lauren pulled out her phone. "I am calling Mom. She will tell you that you are overreacting." Of course she would call our mother. Growing up, whenever we had a disagreement, Lauren would run to our parents, who almost always took her side. Some things never change. Sure enough, after a brief conversation, Lauren handed me the phone with a triumphant look. "Jacob," my mother said, using my full name as she always did when she was about to lecture me. "Why are you making such a fuss?" Lauren said. "Tyler is just borrowing it. You should be happy to share with your nephew. Mom, she took it without asking. It is Max's birthday present. Well, family should share. Can you not just get Max something else?" For the sake of peace in the family, it was the same old story. I was expected to be the bigger person to give in to keep the peace. I returned the phone to Lauren without another word. Meanwhile, Tyler had returned to the living room, where he was playing the PlayStation loudly. Every sound from the game felt like a personal insult. I had spent 8 months saving for that console, and now my nephew was using it as if it was his birthright. The front door opened and Max walked in. My heart sank. He was supposed to be at his mother's until tomorrow morning, but here he was a day early. "Dad," he called out excitedly. "Mom had to go to her sister's place for an emergency, so she dropped me off early." "Is that okay?" I forced a smile. "Of course it is okay. I am always happy to see you." Max's eyes darted to the living room, where the sounds of the game were coming from. "Is that a PlayStation?" His voice was filled with innocent wonder. Before I could respond, Lauren jumped in. Yes, Tyler brought his from home. Is not that nice of him to share? Max's face lit up and he hurried into the living room. Cool, can I play too, Tyler? I heard Tyler's dismissive response. Maybe later, I just started this level. I stood in the kitchen feeling trapped and helpless. Lauren had managed to ruin the surprise, take away my gift, and make it seem like Tyler was the generous one for sharing. The unfairness of it all was overwhelming. Lauren followed me into the hallway, lowering her voice. See, everything is fine. They are bonding. I shook my head. This is not fine. You need to make this right. Her expression turned cold. If you make a scene about this, I will tell Max you never bought him anything. I will tell him his uncle is too selfish to share with family. Is that what you want? Are you threatening me? In my own home, I am just saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way. If you keep pushing, Tyler and I will leave right now, and I will make sure everyone in the family knows you kicked us out over a stupid video game. I felt cornered. If Lauren and Tyler left in anger, it would cast a shadow over Max's birthday. If they stayed, I would have to watch Tyler play with the gift meant for my son. Either way, Max would be caught in the middle of family drama on what should have been a special day. I retreated to my bedroom, needing space to think. Through the thin walls, I could hear Tyler on his phone. Yeah, I am playing the new Spider-Man game right now. No, my mom just took it from my loser uncle. He cannot even say anything about it. My blood boiled, but what broke my heart was seeing Max standing in the hallway having overheard everything. The look of disappointment and confusion on his face was devastating. He quietly walked to his room and closed the door. That was the moment everything changed. I stood frozen in the hallway staring at Max's closed door. In that moment, something crystallized inside me, a realization that this was about much more than a PlayStation. This was about respect boundaries, and teaching my son what it means to stand up for yourself. All my life I had given in to Lauren. When we were kids, I let her take my toys because sharing is caring. As teenagers, I gave her my concert tickets because she deserved them more. As adults, I listened to her criticize my life choices without pushing back, because that is just how Lauren is. But watching the hurt on Max's face made me see that by allowing Lauren to walk all over me, I was teaching my son to accept disrespect and injustice. What kind of lesson was that? I took a deep breath, knocked on Max's door, and waited. When he did not answer, I gently opened it to find him sitting on his bed, arms wrapped around his knees. Hey, buddy, I said softly. Can we talk? He shrugged, not looking at me. I heard what Tyler said, and I want you to know something important. Max finally looked up, his eyes filled with confusion. I will be right back, I promised, squeezing his shoulder gently. With newfound determination, I walked into the living room where Tyler was still playing the PlayStation. Without a word, I calmly unplugged the console mid-game. Hey, Tyler shouted. I was playing that. Not anymore. I replied, my voice steady, as I began disconnecting the cables. Lauren rushed in from the kitchen. What do you think you are doing? Taking back what belongs to Max and me. I continued methodically collecting the controllers and games. You cannot do that. Tyler was using it. Lauren's face flushed with anger. Actually, I can. This is my home, and this is a gift I bought for my son after saving for 8 months. I am sorry that I did not make my boundaries clear before, but I am making them clear now. Lauren's eyes widened in disbelief. No one in the family had ever spoken to her like this before. If you take that away from Tyler, I will call the police and report you for theft. I almost laughed. Go ahead. Explain to them how you took something from my bedroom closet without permission, and now you are calling them because I want it back. Tyler stood up, his face contorted with rage. Give it back. I will break it if you do not give it back right now. He lunged for the console in my hands. I held it firmly out of his reach. Tyler, I understand you are upset, but this does not belong to you. This behavior is exactly why I need to set some boundaries. Lauren pulled out her phone. I am calling Mom again. She will straighten you out. You can call whoever you want, but this conversation is between you and me. I am not speaking to Mom about this. As Lauren dialed frantically, I continued packing up the PlayStation and its accessories. To my surprise, Max appeared in the doorway. He looked at the scene before him, his aunt yelling into the phone, his cousin red-faced with anger, and me calmly collecting the gaming system. "Stop it," Max said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. "My dad worked really hard for that. It is not yours to take." The simple courage in those words made my chest swell with pride. At 10 years old, Max understood something that had taken me 34 years to learn. Lauren looked stunned. "Max, sweetie, you do not understand adult situations. Tyler and I are your guests." "No," Max interrupted, his voice stronger now. "I heard what Tyler said on the phone. He called my dad a loser and said you took it from him." "That is not right." Lauren's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. For once, she had no ready response. I finished packing everything into the original box and stood up straight. "Lauren, Tyler, I think it would be best if you found another place to stay tonight." "You cannot be serious," Lauren sputtered. "Where are we supposed to go at this hour?" "There is a hotel 5 minutes away. I am sure William would be happy to cover it." "This is ridiculous. All over a stupid game console." I shook my head. "No, this is about respect. This pattern ends today. I deserve respect, and so does Max. This is our home, and these are our boundaries." Lauren gathered her things in a huff, muttering about ungrateful brothers and family loyalty. Tyler stomped around, slamming doors and making as much noise as possible. Within 20 minutes they were gone, the front door slamming hard enough to rattle the windows. In the sudden quiet of the apartment, Max looked at me with wide eyes. "Are you okay, Dad?" The question nearly broke me. My 10-year-old son was checking if I was okay, after I had finally done what I should have done years ago. "I am more than okay," I told him, setting the PlayStation box on the coffee table. "I am sorry you had to see that, Max. But sometimes standing up for yourself is messy." Max pointed to the box. "Is that really for me?" I nodded, a lump forming in my throat. "It was supposed to be a surprise for your birthday tomorrow. I have been saving for it since January." "That is why you stopped getting coffee at Jenkins, Max said thoughtfully, "and why you sold your magazines." I was surprised he had noticed those small sacrifices. "Can I open it now?" he asked hesitantly. I checked the time. It was just after midnight. "Technically, it is your birthday now. So yes, you can open your present." As Max tore into the wrapping paper I had hastily put on the box, his face lit up with pure joy. A PlayStation 5 and Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank. He threw his arms around me in a fierce hug. "Thank you, Dad. This is the best present ever." But what he said next stunned me. "I am proud of you, Dad. Proud of me." "For what?" "For standing up to Aunt Lauren. She is not very nice sometimes. Out of the mouths of babes. Well, sometimes it takes a while for grown-ups to learn important lessons." We stayed up late, setting up the console and playing the first levels of Spider-Man together. For the first time in a long time, I felt a weight lifted from my shoulders, the weight of always giving in, always being the one to compromise, always putting my own needs last. The next morning, my phone was flooded with messages. Lauren had sent a series of angry texts accusing me of humiliating her and Tyler. My parents had called 6 times, leaving voicemails that ranged from concerned to outright furious. The family grapevine was clearly ablaze with Lauren's version of events. Instead of responding immediately, I sat down and wrote a thoughtful email to all of them. I explained exactly what had happened, how Lauren had taken Max's birthday present without asking, and how I had finally set a boundary after years of enabling her behavior. I ended the email by saying I would be taking some time away from family communication to focus on Max and our relationship. Then I blocked their numbers just temporarily so we could enjoy Max's birthday weekend without interruption. "Are you sure about this?" Dad Max asked when I told him what I had done. "Yes. Sometimes you need space to figure out what kind of relationship you want with people, even family. And today is about celebrating you, not dealing with drama." The relief I felt was immediate and profound. For the first time, I had prioritized my own well-being and Max's without feeling guilty about it. We went ahead with the small birthday party as planned. 3 of Max's friends came over and they took turns playing the PlayStation while eating pizza and cake. I overheard Max telling his friends, "My dad saved for 8 months to buy this for me. He worked extra shifts and everything." The pride in his voice made every sacrifice worth it. But more importantly, I realized that by standing up for myself, I had given Max a gift far more valuable than any gaming console, the example of self-respect. For 3 weeks, I maintained my distance from Lauren and my parents. During that time, I started seeing a therapist to address the family patterns that had led to this situation. Dr. No-25 and me-12. Kaminsky helped me understand how my role as the peacekeeper had actually enabled Lauren's entitled behavior all these years. Boundaries are not just for your benefit, Dr. Kaminsky explained. They actually help others understand how to have a healthy relationship with you. I began practicing saying no in other areas of my life too. When my boss asked me to work overtime with no extra pay, I politely declined. When a friend repeatedly asked for rides without offering gas money, I explained that I could no longer do that. Each small boundary was a step toward reclaiming my self-worth. Eventually, Lauren sent a text that surprised me. "I am sorry for taking the PlayStation without asking. I should have respected your boundaries." It was brief and did not acknowledge all aspects of her behavior, but it was a start. I did not respond immediately, taking time to process whether this was a genuine apology or just another manipulation. A week later, my mother called. "Jacob, we need to talk about what happened with Lauren." I expected the usual defense of Lauren's actions, but after I explained my perspective fully, there was a long silence. "I never realized how often we asked you to accommodate her," my mother finally said. "Your father and I may have played a role in this dynamic." It was not a full acknowledgement, but it was progress. 2 months after the incident, Lauren asked if she and Tyler could visit again. I was hesitant, but agreed on the condition that we all respect each other's boundaries. To my surprise, they arrived with a gift for Max, a game for his PlayStation, and a more genuine apology. "I have been thinking about what happened," Lauren said while the boys played in Max's room. "I have always taken advantage of your good nature, Jake. It was wrong of me to take something you had worked so hard for." Tyler, too, seemed different. He actually asked Max, before touching his things, and thanked me for the snacks I provided. Later, I learned that Lauren had started taking him to family therapy to address his entitled behavior. As I watched Max interact with his cousin, setting healthy boundaries while still being kind, I felt a profound sense of satisfaction. He was learning lessons at 10 that had taken me decades to understand. The PlayStation became more than just a gaming console in our home. It was a symbol of my growth, a reminder that standing up for yourself does not make you selfish, it makes you whole. Max and I often played games together in the evenings, building not just virtual worlds but a stronger father-son relationship. One night, after beating a particularly challenging level, Max turned to me. "Dad, remember when you stood up to Aunt Lauren about the PlayStation?" I nodded. "That was better than any video game. It showed me that sometimes the boss battle is in real life." His insight made me laugh, but he was right. The greatest challenges we face are often not external obstacles, but the patterns and beliefs that keep us from being our authentic selves. The journey of the past few months had taught me that standing up for yourself can be uncomfortable and messy, but the freedom on the other side is worth every difficult moment. By breaking the cycle of always giving in, I had not only changed my relationship with Lauren, but modeled for Max the power of self-respect. As we navigate this new family dynamic, I know there will be setbacks and challenges. Old patterns do not disappear overnight. But now I have the tools and the confidence to maintain my boundaries even with those closest to me. Have you ever had to stand up to a family member who crossed a line? Comment below and share your experience. How did you handle it, and what did you learn? If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more real-life stories about family dynamics and personal growth. And if you know someone who might benefit from this message, share it with them. Sometimes knowing we are not alone in our struggles makes all the difference. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, it is never too late to teach others how to treat you with respect.